Ahoy! And welcome to the Boating Hour with Captain Rick. The Boating Hour brings you the latest and greatest essential information about everything that sails, floats, or motors upon the high seas of Southern California. From landlubbers to old salts, there'll be something for everyone. So climb aboard and get ready to sail with Captain Rick.
Ahoy out there, and welcome once again to the Boating Hour. I'm Captain Rick, and I want to thank you for joining us here on AM Edge 70. We're here every Saturday at 4 p.m. Please be sure to visit us on the web at theboatinghour.com. Now on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble, The Boating Hour with Captain Rick. Thanks to our sponsors for our show today. For a healthy gut, the best probiotic on the market, Livia One Probiotics, natural, organic, and allergen-free, and Raycom radios, reliable two-way radio communications, commercial radios throughout Southern California. And a special guest today, the harbor master at Avalon, Oren. We heard the radio in the background when we started the show. Thanks for joining us. It's exciting to have you on the show.
Well, hello, Captain Rick. Yes, you got me live.
That's really exciting for me because, I mean, from what I understand, when you're a harbor master, you don't sleep until you retire. Is that about right?
That is about right. It's a 24/7 job.
God, I just can't. How did you become harbor master? Did you grow up on the water? Or are you a boater, fisherman, sailor? What's your background?
I grew up on the water.
Okay.
So my dad was a charter captain and owned his own business down in the Caribbean. I was born in Puerto Rico and lived in the Caribbean until I was 9 years old, and that's when I came out to Catalina. That was 1973, and I've been here ever since. Started working for the city of Avalon and just worked my way up the chain.
God, that's exciting. You know, I'm not sure if I have the background to grow to harbor master, but as a scout, I went to Catalina and we donated time. We picked up trash and we helped tourists. And I grew up going to Catalina with the scouts, of course, Emerald Bay and some of the camps. But you guys have a lot of visitors in Avalon and the cruise ships, right? Do they still anchor there?
They do. We've got 3 this week. So we had one Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we have Royal Caribbean in, and then that'll end it for the rest of the week. But, yeah, no, plenty of people in town today, and, you know, lots going on. And all the camps, everybody is in full swing right here on the island, on Catalina.
How is the city of Avalon recovering from, I guess we were locked down for three and a half years or so. So did it, boom, come right back the next day as soon as they opened up the world? Or did it take a little time to get the businesses open?
It came right back. I was actually really surprised how fast everything came back. We weren't even really ready for the kind of onslaught that happened in 2021. So, you know, we went from zero in COVID, right? We just shut everything down, cruise ships, everything got shut down. And then literally opened back up, and it was like the floodgates opening up. It was incredible to see how the numbers came back just immediately, and then the numbers have been strong ever since. So the ridership with the cross-channel carriers is strong. The cruise ship counts are greater than ever. The hotel counts and TOT taxes, all kinds of things like that are revenue generators for the city of Avalon are all doing very well. So the economy here on Catalina is just, as far as I'm concerned, is in a very good place.
And, you know, I've gone to Catalina quite a bit, and I forget that there's a whole city there. I go to the Isthmus or some of the other coves. I've gone there with fishermen. And, of course, I have a lot of diver friends. I'm not a certified diver yet. That's on my bucket list. But I understand that on the backside of the island, Farnsworth Bank is one of the top 10 global dive spots. So how about Avalon? Do you have people in the Avalon diving too, or is it just the backside of the island?
No, it's all over the island. So we have multiple dive boats that leave the Avalon Pier here on a regular basis every day. They're scheduled trips. They have snorkeling tours. They have, you know, about the glass bottom boats we have that run through Lovers Cove. We've got, we've got exceptionally clear waters. We've got abundant fish. And then with the diving operations, they will take you just about anywhere. There's, don't forget the dive park itself off the Casino Point. That is phenomenal for just going out there if you're not a diver, you don't have to be. Just get a mask and snorkel and get yourself some fins. The water is about 71, 72 right now, and jump in the water. There's a stairway that goes right into the water. Couldn't be easier. And then you're running with the kelp, with the fish, and you're having fun. It's so easy to just get in the water and enjoy the place. And if you are an expert diver, or if you're a moderate diver and you have some experience, I mean, you can get all the equipment here. You don't have to really carry it all over if you don't want to. You can rent all the equipment. You can get in the water. There's just plenty for everybody to do. And then, of course, you got rental boats. I mean, I can go on and on about all that.
God, that is so amazing. I mean, it's one of the great go-to spots. I hear a lot of people come to Los Angeles from all over the world just to go to Catalina. And I never.
Yeah, well, think about it, right? So you're in LA, and it's just a short drive. Probably the 110 freeway right down to the docks there, and then the boat only takes you an hour to get over here, and the boat is an enjoyable ride. And then you're on the island. I mean, literally, with the schedules they have nowadays, you can come in the morning and you can leave on a late boat. You don't even have to stay the night if you don't want to, and you can spend a good, 10 or 12-hour day here. There's so much you can do, and you're not far from anywhere.
I usually sail over, and a lot of my friends sail over, and it takes about 4 or 5 hours. And what's amazing is the very first time, many years ago, when I had to go to Cat Harbor, and I was at the Isthmus. So on the map, it's only a couple inches away, and I think it took me longer to go around the island. So.
It did. I'm sure it did take you a lot longer to go around the island. It's funny. I live here, and I rarely circumnavigate the island, but I generally, my run is from Avalon up to White's Landing, and then on to the Isthmus, and that's about 11-mile run. But that's in a boat, if you're doing, if you're in my boat, does 20. So it only takes me about 35 minutes to get up to the Isthmus. But then you were talking about Emerald, and, all those coves up there at the West End are so beautiful. Emerald and Howland's Landing, in those, the diving off of Lion's Head, all of that is phenomenal too. And, so, I mean, it really, there's so many options for anybody. And I think a lot of the sailors tend to go to the West End because there's more afternoon breezes up there. There's more of what they're looking for. Down at the East End, we generally get more powerboats because generally down at the East End, we're kind of semi-blocked by long points. So we have a little bit of a lee down here. And so the waters stay quieter, and it's usually not as breezy.
And then, of course, you got Bird Rock. How was that? How did they name that? I heard people have crashed into it on high tides.
Well, Bird Rock, I mean, yeah, I suppose a number of boats have crashed into it. There's generally some hazardous reefs in the area. And then Shiprock, which we all know, the famous boat Diosa del Mar ran into Shiprock, or at least the reef right off of Shiprock. And that was during the fireman's race. And, it immediately sank at the end of that race. So that was a real memorable race that everybody was involved in, guys like you who would have been, racing to Catalina from the mainland.
What's the fireman's race?
Oh, the fireman's race, I don't think they have it anymore, but it used to be very popular. It was an annual race that L.A. City and L.A. County and all these guys that had boats used to sail out of Long Beach up to the L.A. Light, and then you used to race across, if I remember right. I used to crew on a friend of mine's boat, and it was Catalina 36, I believe.
Oh, what a great
boat. If I remember right. It was a fun boat, but we're never doing more than about 7, but it was always a fun race. But, they had events, it was a race based in fun. And so, all these people come to Catalina, and they'd go to the West End, and every once in a while they'd sink a boat.
on purpose, you think?
No, never on purpose. But, when you're having fun, sometimes those things happen.
Yeah, I know it. I think the first time I went alone to Catalina, I got in a lot of trouble. I took a Cal 20. Okay, I'm going way back. We didn't have any running lights. We just thought we could get over to Catalina. We're a bunch of kids. And I took a Cal 20, and everybody back in Marina and all the clubs were looking for us. And I don't know who the harbor master is, but they got a hold of him and they found us, and we were stuck and had to be put up. That's my first experience alone going to Catalina. I remember it like it was yesterday, and boy, I got into a lot of trouble, and that's when they put me in the camps. So the camps are absolutely fantastic. Although, I got to tell you, I've never actually seen a buffalo. Are they still there?
Yeah, the buffalo are still here. Saw one up at Haypress, in the Haypress Lake yesterday, just in the shallow end. And then, every once in a while we'll see them down at White's Landing. Sometimes they'll get all the way down to the beach. But there's about 100 or so on the island, and they're in different parts of the island, but they're still here. Back to I thought your cattle. What was that? The Cal 20 story. That's that still happens to this day. So we get kids that arrive here on a little Cal 20, and they're just having the adventure of their lifetime. And I couldn't support it more. Like to see a group of kids out there on a boat having their first adventure, finding out that their cell phones actually don't work mid-channel.
Oh, okay.
It's a whole scary experience. And then they're like, oh, do it. I love when I ask the question, well, did you have a VHF radio so you could communicate with anybody? And they're like, what is that? So, it's a learning experience, but that's how, these things happen. And that's the adventures and things that you remember, when you get older. So, I want to let you know that it still happens. I still see people coming out. And the scouts, by the way, they're going to be circumnavigating the island here coming up in the end of this month in canoes. They do it about every 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they'll be doing it, and they stop by Avalon, and they camp up in the canyon here, and it's just one of those adventures, right? They actually circumnavigate the island in a rowing canoe, so I think that's pretty good adventure.
I've never done it, and I don't think I ever will, but I've had a couple friends that paddleboarded over to Catalina. I guess I don't know if it was a race or a tournament or it's just a group. Yeah. Does that still go on? The paddleboard from I guess either Marina del Rey or Long Beach all the way over to Catalina. How do you do 27 miles? Wait, what is it from L.A. 27 miles to Catalina?
Yeah, well, that tends to happen more at the West End. So the paddleboard races tend to leave out of the isthmus and go up to. I want to say up to Redondo Beach or something like that. It's up. I'm trying to remember. I used to actually assist with that back in the 90s. But, yeah, they do that. And then there's a few others that come on during the year. And then there's the outrigger races have gotten really big. So now we have the outrigger races that leave out of Avalon and go to Newport. And they have other destinations in the year. But the big one is coming up here, I want to say in September, maybe late August. I can't remember exactly the date, but it's a big one, big outrigger race.
Now, as harbor master, is the whole island your responsibility? I mean, that's a giant, that's a giant area.
Thankfully, it's not. That would be a lot to watch over. The island company runs all of the moorings, which are at White's Landing, which is 3.5 miles to the west of us. And then when you get up to the isthmus, all those moorings, some 600 or more moorings up there, are all operated by the Santa Catalina Island Company and that harbor master up there. The only moorings that I oversee are the city waters, which are down at the east end, which is Avalon, Descanso Beach, and Hamilton Cove, and Lovers Cove area. So that's basically the city waters.
Oh, I get it. So there's a couple harbor masters. Yeah, that would be absolutely, unbelievable to have a whole island, responsibility for that. Have you had any notable rescues lately? Are people getting into peril at all?
Well, we have peril happening. Rescues are every day.
Oh, no kidding.
So, yeah, just, think about it, and it's happening. So we had, we've had vessel groundings. We've had, small, I don't think that we've had any real big boat fires, knock on wood. there's been some smaller ones, just mainly medical calls. That's the gist of what's going on here this time of year with so many people in town.
Oh, I see. Okay. Wow, that must be. I just had someone on last week that talked about a boat that sunk in the slip. It was a nostalgic Chris Craft, and the owner hadn't been to it for a while, and he sunk right in the slip. Everybody came back to see just the top of their boat. You ever get boats that sink that their bilge isn't working? Is that ever a problem?
Yeah. No, we had that, an absent owner that was on the mainland, and the boat started taking on water. Thank God it was 25 feet, and our patrol boats are 22 feet. So what we were able to do before it turned turtle was we were able to get a line off our breast line off the side of our boat through its stern cleats, and then just keep the gunnel up high enough that we were able to pump it dry with our pumps. But LA County Baywatch is here on the island, and the lifeguards are tremendous help when we have situations like that, because they'll put a guard in the water, and then they'll plug up any holes, and then we run some pumps, and then if we need more pumps, they have pumps, and we have tremendous team effort between our local city fire department. Our LA County Fire Department is basically part of the team here because we are part of LA County. Sometimes people forget that. LA County extends all the way out to Catalina Island. And so if you're in the interior of the island, you're in the interior of, you'll have LA County Fire who are patrolling out there. And so sometimes people forget that we are part of the county.
Wow. I'd love to get Holly Mitchell on. Of course, it was Janice Hahn, and then they redistrict. So I guess Holly Mitchell is your suit. Do you have to go to the meetings? Does Catalina send someone, a lobbyist or someone who's part of Catalina to actually sit? Of course, they're probably grueling meetings, but do you have to do that to keep in touch to, lobby for money and assets? Is that something that's ongoing?
Yeah, we're like any other city, right? So we have a represent like the city council members sit in. City manager will get involved. Janice Hahn has been tremendously her office has been tremendously supportive of the city of Avalon. And then I'm trying to think. Anyways, basically, many of the district politicians that support our area are tremendously helpful. I mean, and we do go to them for help.
I forgot too. You're LA County, so wow.
Yeah.
So all kind of what's the staff like? How many people work in just talk Avalon, not the whole island. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you have a real big staff working every day?
Yeah, I mean, we have public works department, recreation department, fire department, harbor department. We have sanitation or sewer treatment. Then we have Southern California Edison here on the island, which gets us our water and our power. So I mean, there's the whole system, the whole ecosystem's over here.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's one of the great spots. I think I want to retire in Catalina.
I think you and a bunch of people do, but I mean, I would say that would not be a bad decision. I don't know what your favorite things to do in Los Angeles are, but it's again, like it's only a boat ride away. So
yeah, well, it's an absolutely amazing place to be, and I'm going to spend a couple trips up there. I've got some guests visiting. Of course, they want to go to Catalina. And I've got some plans. I haven't been there since before the island was locked down, and I used to love all the different festivals, and meeting all kinds of people. And the last time I was there, there was some yacht club functions over at Cat Harbor on the backside, and we decided to go a little way out and look at some of the islands. And I went to the Forbidden Island and got boarded. I didn't realize I was.
Oh, you went out to San Clemente Island?
I didn't know it. I got a little, my navigation skills are not the greatest. So we came close and came boarded, and we didn't realize where we were. And then on the way back, of course, we were going to, the west. We were coming back to Marina del Rey, and I had guests with me, so a little embarrassing that I didn't know where I was. and we were joking about it because I think they still do, practice drills and stuff. But the Forbidden Island. But when I came back, I saw a huge tanker. And I didn't realize that's Catalina Water Company. They're supplying the fresh salt water for all the aquarium shops in Southern California. I went by that. They were dredging.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's they go backside and they dredge some of the water. I don't know if they're still in operation, but fish tanks is not as popular as it was a decade ago. And
yeah, well, no, you do have the Long Beach Aquarium, and you do have the one down at San Pedro. So I think that there's some. I don't know how that works. I really don't, but they have to get good, clean salt water for their aquariums, and I'm not sure if they filter it somewhere. I'm not sure how that works, but no, it's amazing when you get out here, right? So if you go out to Clemente Island, just so you know, and everybody else know that's listening, that they have the schedule for the San Clemente Island military exercises out there online. You can find it. I can't remember if it's sci.org or something like that. But it's commonly used, right? Because there's also great fishing grounds out there.
Yes.
So you need to, look at their schedules, and then, because you might be out there tuna fishing for bluefin or there might be a bunch of schooling fish within the area, like within the 3 mile, I think no fly zone, I'll say, so to speak, right? Because they have all kinds of the Navy uses that island in all kinds of different ways.
Yeah, it was a surprise. I had known it. I never paid attention to it. We entered that 3 mile zone, and boy, was I surprised. So yeah, let's talk about fishing before I let you go. What's the fish? I got a lot of friends that said bluefins are prevalent. They're getting bluefins left and right. At one time, there wasn't any bluefish. I don't know. That was near enough to the shore to go fishing. What's the fishing like right now?
The fishing has been phenomenal the last 2 years. It's not close to Catalina right now. You are having to travel quite a bit further towards San Diego and out offshore. But, the good news is that they are getting them. I am seeing them be brought into the pier. The yellowtail that are being caught around the island are big. Also white sea bass are being taken. The Dorado have been seen, but I haven't seen any caught. All I can say, I'm not a fisherman, but I can say that I see them. I see them coming in, and I hear people talking about them, and they're definitely showing up at the local restaurants.
Yeah, I've got some friends that sending me pictures. I somehow was promoting the yacht clubs and the youth activities and all kinds of sailing, and I had a lot of fishermen that listened to me. So now I regularly have the fish report with Captain David Estes. He brings kids out and teaches them, and he's got a lot of friends. He goes out, and he's caught some. He sent me a beautiful picture of some of the fish. Well, Mr. Harbor Master, I want to thank you for coming on. It's really exciting. I barely scratched the surface. Next week, I've got Jim coming on from the Visitors Bureau.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's going to come on and talk about vacationing there and a little bit about the hotels and some of the events. And I'll spend a couple weeks on Catalina, one of the greatest places to be in the world. People from all over the world come to Los Angeles just to go to Catalina. So I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Captain Rip. And I know you're a sailor, and I know that you always tend to go to West End, but if you can, make your way down to the East End and come say hello to us. Stop by the office, okay?
I will definitely do that. I've got some friends visiting, and that's one of the things they want to do. Sailor friends of mine that have never been to Avalon. They've been everywhere all over the island, and that's going to be one of our trips, so I'll definitely do that. Well, I greatly appreciate it. Have a great rest of the summer. You're going to see me, and that's all the time that we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed our show. As always, we're so very fortunate to have such wonderful guests, and let's not forget the Coasties, protecting our waters, America's lifesavers, and guardians of the sea. Thanks to our sponsors for our show today. For a healthy gut, Livia One Probiotics, and Raycom radios, reliable two-way radios throughout Southern California without drop zones, dead batteries, and the inherent limitations of all the other communication systems. Don't forget to visit us on the web at theboatinghour.com, now on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. The Boating Hour with Captain Rick. I want to thank our guest today. So, Harbor Master Oren, I really appreciate you coming on the show. Keep your emails coming. This is Captain Rick. Have a wonderful summer. Hope to see you on the water, sailing, fishing, or just boating, paddle boarding, or canoeing. This is Captain Rick saying ahoy and fair winds to all.